rolling into the White House on this 15th day of a closed-for-business federal government. The vice president came to lead another round of border wall negotiations. Not seen, but tweeting, the president declared, "I am in the White House ready to go. Where are the Dems?" Democrats and Republicans were here, but the president did not take part himself.
We put together a team of people that will work over the weekend.
The vice president, Secretary Nielsen, advisor Jared Kushner met with Capitol Hill senior staff, not the elected leaders, for 2 hours. But no breakthrough. The president reacted. Not much headway made today. Though aides said the conversation was productive and they agreed to meet again tomorrow afternoon. Speaker Pelosi voiced frustration.
The impression you get from the president that he would like to not only close government, build a wall, but also abolish Congress.
Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney tells Meet the Press the president is willing to bend.
He has to give up a concrete wall and replace it with a steel fence in order to do that, so that Democrats can say, see, he's not building a wall anymore. That should help us.
With 800,000 federal workers getting no paychecks, ironically today, the vice president and cabinet secretaries were due a pay raise after a 5-year salary freeze expired. This Office of Personnel Management memo said it would be prudent to keep the frozen rate. Friday, Mr. Pence told reporters he would not accept a nearly $13,000 raise.
Mr. Vice President, you'll turn down your raise? Is that what you said? Thank you.
And Democratic aides familiar with the meeting said that the administration refused to budge off that wall, calling that an untenable position that cannot pass Congress. When they meet again tomorrow, administration officials say they will have the requested specific budget numbers that Democrats want to see. And tonight, Speaker Pelosi says that the House will just start passing funding measures department by department next week to try to pressure the Senate and White House to reopen the government.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.